Welcome to the Alternative Healers Coffee Chat.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria Amador.
I am Janel Mulligan.
Beautiful. So, in this first podcast, we want to really give you an introduction about who we are, go a little deeper so that you can really understand what we're trying to do with this podcast.
Yes, we're looking to bring many different types of modalities and healers together to help give an interesting, engaging conversation, expand awareness, and create community.
Beautiful. So, should we start with your background?
Sure. I have a very different background than I think most healers. I am an attorney, actually, and I've been in corporate and legal for over 20 years. And back in 2019, started down a different path. I was called to explore hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming, which then led me to quantum healing, the Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner. And once I found that, I felt like I found my home. I found what were my strengths. So I started on that path, and it introduced me to Victoria.
Yeah, that was a year ago, or a year and a
Yeah,
half ago.
yeah. And how about you, Victoria? How did you end up here today?
So, for me, I come from the business background. I have several different companies, family-owned businesses in the last 10 or so years. And I was born with some abilities that I kind of put to the side for a good amount of time. And when they started coming back very strongly, it was my first dark night of the soul. I know you don't like that phrase, but that was my goodness, that was over 10 years ago, 12 years ago, or something like that. And eventually I started finding my way to committing myself full time with the healing journey, the things that I needed to do to assist others. Because it was so hard on my body, I started looking for alternative ways to do my healing part to help the community, clients, and so on, family. And I found quantum healing. So I started with QHHT. I am a level 2 practitioner, and I also did the BQH, which is how I found you. And I have training other therapists, hypnotherapy and spirit releasement therapy and so on, which are more aligned with my background in 21 divisions and the other stuff that I do. So I think everything just came together for us to be able to do this. So I'm super excited.
I agree. And in our working together and having sessions with each other, we found that our energy was very much aligned, and we both really wanted to help people and expand our own knowledge. And we felt this would be a great way to do both.
Absolutely. So, in regards to what we hope to do with the podcast and the people that we are anticipating are going to come on board to share their gifts with the whole community that we're trying to create here. Tell us a little more about how do you see that in the next few months as we start ramping up all the guest speakers?
I guess what I envision or hope to see is a wide range of different practitioners and healers. Anyone from a very Eastern, very spiritual practice to even more Western normal practices such as acupuncturists and, chiropractors, anything from each extreme and everything in the middle, because each of our energies are always so different, and what we need healed are so different, that we want to give our listeners the ability to find something that resonates with them, that they're like, oh, this is the place that I can go to learn about all these different things and find what will help me move forward to release whatever pain, whatever suffering, whatever challenges they're going through in life at this moment, that we become kind of that one-stop shop for all of that, and to open their minds to show that people that there are so many other options, beautiful options out there, than what we normally see.
That's beautiful. Can I ask you, and I know this is a little personal, but I wanted to know, and the viewers also, the listeners, to connect a little more with your personal background, like what happened that made you decide to go from being an attorney to going on the spiritual realm?
I think it was multiple things. I wish I could say it was only one thing. Uh, I similarly, about 10 years ago, went through a very challenging period with a divorce and losing two very close family members all within a 3-year period. And once that occurred, I started looking at life differently and started recognizing that I was shoving myself in boxes that other people had created. And over the next 10 years of kind of detoxing from the unhealthy relationships that I was in, I realized there's so much more to me than what I've been trying to be. And similar, I had abilities, looking back now, I realized I had strengths and abilities that I just either discarded, ignored, shoved in a box because I was told they weren't real or they were scary, and said, oh, okay, that's not real. I can't do that because that's not real. And I started seeing that there are ways of healing and ways of connecting with people and helping people that aren't in the adversarial corporate mindset. And that was like, it made me feel like I was coming home. Here are ways I can actually help people build security, build strength, empower them to take control of their lives and understand who they are and their heart center, and move forward with that. So I started seeing these little synchronicities. All this information started coming this way, and it made me feel so much more alive and so much brighter, that even friends now look at me and go, Janel, you almost look like a different person. You are so much more happy now than you were, 5 years ago. And it's been a large part me embracing those parts of myself, that integrating that spiritual, like, I do have these abilities, I do have these strengths, and how can I help others with them?
That's beautiful.
So how about you? I mean, you went from running these businesses for your family to making the decision to do this full time as well. Was there any one thing or a couple of things that brought you to that transition?
I think for me, it was about doing what I knew I came here to do. And for a long time, I was really good at what I was doing. So it was not that it was easy, because every business is hard, right? But it came naturally. And assisting, helping others, it was something that I did behind closed doors where no one really knew, like immediate people didn't really know, because I didn't want them to think I was weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I came out of the closet eventually. And when I came out of the closet, I think it was that moment when I realized, I've been hiding behind that door for many, many years for many different reasons. And it was just time. Like, I knew it was, assisting others and really exchanging that energy that we get to exchange when we are in a session with someone, and there is healing happening. Even, I mean, it's magical. So getting to that point where I was committed to doing so 100%, it took some time. I'm not gonna lie, it did take some time, but it was necessary for me because it was, I know that is part of my mission for this life, for this experience that I'm living here now. So it's meant to be.
Definitely. Now, with your clients that you feel are having such magical sessions, is there, any thread that you're noticing with what they're coming to you with, or anything that really stands out about your clients?
Yeah, I think most of my clients are going through that spiritual calling, that spiritual awakening, or getting ready to serve. So they are in that midpoint where I don't know what to do. My life is falling apart. I have traumas that I have to heal, but I know I have something to give. And that is the common trend for most of my clients, where they are in that midpoint. And it can be very disturbing because it's, everything falls apart before you start new. So I truly remember going through that. How it felt at time. It was like, oh my God, what's happening to me? So I can definitely relate to all of my clients because it's like I either done that or going through that.
Yep.
So
And that's one of
yeah,
the greatest things about this is our journey never ends either. We get to learn. And one of the things I find so interesting is so many times our clients come to us and they have a lesson not only for themselves, but they also have a lesson for us as the practitioner and the
absolutely.
facilitator and it's always so interesting that sometimes it's like, okay, guides, like you really had to deliver it that way.
Hmm. Everything is divine. Like
Definitely.
it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful journey. I think anyone that is listening, that is a therapist of any kind or a healer, whether it's Reiki or anything else, we all know that all those people that come to us, they have that energy exchange so that we can also heal pieces of ourselves, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it's more like, oh my goodness, I really do have to work on this. And sometimes it's like, oh, I got it. I finally got it. Thank you. So there is a little bit of
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. Yeah, that validation. Sometimes that validation our teams in our life is like, here, you got it. Yay.
Yay. You graduate now.
Yeah. On to the next lesson.
Yes, there is always a lesson. That's a great point, Janelle, because a lot of people ask me, a lot of the clients ask, when does it stop? When do I stop this healing? Because it's just so much. And it's like, there's so many layers, right?
Yep.
Layers and layers to the healing process. And as long as we are alive, there is always something that we need to heal. That's why we're
Yep.
still alive.
Yep.
So it never ends.
It doesn't.
So we might as well embrace it.
Exactly. I mean, that's the our Western medicine is fantastic that it can give you a pill and help lower your fever and you can go in and get your legs set. There's so many benefits to it, but at the same time, it's kind of created an expectation that there is a one-stop shop to fix everything. Like, here's a pill, it will take all your pain away. Unfortunately, as we know, that's not how things work. There, like you said, there are layers to it all. And until we kind of get to those core roots and recognize, okay, this is healthy, this not so much. How do I find that balance and integrate the healing lessons and then create that ripple effect in my world and other people's world?
Absolutely. Yeah. And now that you talk about integration, that's another one. Uh, with a lot of different modalities, right? People have this idea, I go to a session and that's it. And then they don't realize there is so much integration that needs to happen to like discover all the pieces of your sessions, or if you did plant medicine, or if you did whatever you did, like there is always that key integration part that needs to happen. Give me your opinion about that.
I agree, definitely. It's integration is probably the hardest part in my perspective, because like you said, people come in, have a session, and they're like, oh, the healing happened during my session, I'm good to go, it's all fixed. They walk out and kind of forget about the lessons that were brought up for them, and what their own inner knowledge brought to light. They don't go back and listen to their sessions again. They don't go back and, work through traumas that came up. They're like, oh, it came up, it was fixed, and they kind of move on. And they don't take the time and energy afterwards to look at it and go, how is this affecting other parts of my life? How is this affecting how I show up with my friends, family, loved ones, relatives, and the world? And learning to step back and go, okay, now this is how I, want to move forward. You get so much of this is about choice, and people don't seem to understand that they have these choices in their lives. And have you seen that, people not wanting to take responsibility for choices, or how does that show up with your clients?
Well, I think it's the same because, once we're done with a session, I always tell them, listen to your recording. And those that are part of the program and they come back, the Awakening the Healer program, they come back for the next session. And I ask them, did you listen to your recording? I didn't have time. It's been a month. You needed to have time if you were taking this healing journey very seriously.
Yeah, prioritizing themselves as much as
Yeah, it's about taking the responsibility. I think a lot of people are so used to going to someone, save me, heal me, rescue me, but where is the responsibility that we take for doing that for ourselves, right? The practitioner is there to assist, right? But at the end of the day, it's you that have to do the work, and you are the one that has to take responsibility. So yeah, it's definitely something that I think a lot of people have to understand. The whatever modality you use, and I go back to plant medicine because obviously I'm very passionate about plant medicine. That people go to a plant medicine ceremony and the shaman is going to do everything, and sometimes they fall asleep. Sometimes they're like completely not focused on what they're supposed to be doing, and the shaman is supposed to heal you. Like, no, you need to take responsibility for yourself. No matter where you go, what modality you use, you still have to take responsibility.
Yeah, the people, the practitioners are facilitators 99% of the time. We can't heal. And one of the lines that they use in the Beyond Quantum Healing is, all healing is self-healing. Technically, even if you go to a doctor and get a cast on, it is your body doing the work to heal itself. Yes, it's being protected, but your body's the what's healing it. There's nothing that the medicine did to put into it to heal. So all healing is ultimately self-healing.
Absolutely.
And putting, looking at us as practitioners, as facilitators, as guides, that's all we are, is we can show you different paths to take and different options to do that do call to you, that you feel aligned with. We always want our clients to use discernment. Don't go just because Joe Schmo said, oh, this healed me, I was fantastic. If it doesn't resonate with you and doesn't feel aligned to your belief systems, then there's probably something else out there that would help you even more. And be aware of that. And that's part of, I think, why we want to have this podcast, is to show people the options and use their discernment to follow those options and allow their curiosity to get them to start doing the searches, see what else is out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that brings me back to one of the main reasons why I went into quantum healing was because in my spiritual practice, there is this belief that when you go to see the priestess, they have the magic to do everything and you just show up. And I was finding that very frustrating because I understand really well how this works, the mind, soul, and our subconscious. And I was getting really frustrated with people that were coming back requesting things in a way that was like, do the magic and that's it. But they were going home and doing completely different things than what they were supposed to do. So the results were not, how do I say this? Like if you do a spell, for example, the spell works. But if you go back and do the same thing that you were not supposed to do, you cannot expect a different result, right?
Yep.
And that was very frustrating to me, because it was that idea, somebody else is my savior. For what I believe, and I truly do believe, is that we are our own saviors. Like, we are our own gods and goddesses, and we can make the changes if we believe that we can make the changes. But we have to be open to accept and receive that energy of the healing that you need, the answers that you're seeking. They're all within us. We don't really need it from anywhere else.
And I agree completely. And that was one of the things I loved about Beyond Quantum Healing, was that knowledge is in each one of us. Like, being able to put somebody into that trance-like state, and they get to hear from their recording, their own voice, sharing with them exactly what they need to know. All I'm there is to help ask the right questions, help them get to that detail and information they need. And then they are the ones showing themselves that it's all right here. And at the end of the day, you can walk out and you no longer need me. You can take a meditation. You can, follow your own way of getting back to that point again.
Mm-hmm.
And they can do that if they chose. Like, and I thought that was amazing.
Absolutely. That's the magic of quantum healing.
It is, definitely. Agreed. So I know we're kind of getting toward the end of our time. Is there anything you would like our listeners and viewers to know before we?
I think we gave everybody a good idea of what we're trying to do. We're trying to be open, curious, engaging with the people that are going to come on board as our guest speakers. And we really want to create a community where people feel like they have a safe place to come to and engage, because this is also going to be on YouTube. So we are trying to create that community where different healers and those that are seeking healing can come to and really cohesively come together to create that magic, when we have a safe space where everybody can hold space and feel like it's okay to share, and maybe one day have you as a guest speaker too. So anything is possible, right?
And recognizing there are going to be things that we, even with some of the guests that are going to come on, we may not understand or agree. But that's the best part about it, is we get to learn about those perspectives and those options in a way that we may not have even considered, and to be able to give our listeners the same capability of, to your point, holding space and keeping that open, curious mind to what other options are out there that I may never have believed in and or considered. And if I didn't believe in it, why? To be able to go in and go, why is this, tweaking me? Why am I getting upset about this? Because that's just a sign that you have something you can look at and potentially heal.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you so much. It was a beautiful conversation. The first one out of many, many, many to come.
Yes, definitely. So we're going to have a guest speaker, hopefully, in our next podcast and or video. We'll, announce that and let people know as soon as we have that finalized. And anything else we want to?
No, and don't forget to follow, like, and share. Like, let us grow together.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you. Cheers.